All right, guys, what's going on? Welcome back to another video from Field Strength and Athletics. My name is Dylan. Welcome to the gym. Today we have a very special video for you. We are going to be going over how to fix the depth issue with your squat. It's an issue that I see a lot with newer clients or even some more advanced clients, and with people around the strength sports in general. We have an issue getting to depth for whatever reason it may be, but today we are going to fix that, or at least give you the tools you need to get there. So without further ado, let's get to the video. All right, so there can be a lot of different reasons why your squat is not getting to depth. But in order to understand what the goal is here, we're gonna go over a few points and figure out what depth actually is. So let's go to that now. A squat that is to depth does not mean ass to grass. Sometimes all it means is that your inguinal crease, I'll put a picture up right there, gets below the top of your kneecap. We'll put a line across there so you see the inguinal crease getting over or under the top of the kneecap. The inguinal crease gets below the top of the kneecap. That is what we're looking for depth. You do not need to go ass to grass to be low enough in your squat. The number one issue I see with most people when they're not able to get to depth in their squat is a pretty obvious one: ego lifting. You are putting too much weight on the bar too early before you've been able to actually adequately adjust to your training. You are not as strong as you need to be to get to depth, and so you cut off that bottom portion of your squat so that way you can complete your squat. Light weight. That's to depth. Easy. So, what is the fix? Lighten the weight. Check your ego and make sure you've got good form before you start putting too many pounds on your shoulders. Now, with the ego out of the way, let's go into some form corrections. One of the most apparent things that we see that keeps people from being able to get to depth in their squat is that their knees cave in as they're going down, and that creates pressure between their thighs and their stomach, and it gives their brain the cue to go back up. Their knees and their thighs are literally getting in the way of completing the squat. So what is the fix? Right? The fix, if your knees are caving in, is actually one of my favorite cues, I believe coined by Ed Cohen. Open the taint, push the knees out, spread the floor, so that way your knees and thighs get out of the way of you and your belly. The second thing that we see when it comes to form corrections is you have a bigger belly. Let's say if you're one of the larger guys or gals that are in strength sports and your stomach protrudes out, get in my belly. If you're coming down in a more traditional stance in your squat, your stomach might be pushing against your thighs, which is once again causing you to come up early. Fix to this is maybe adjusting your stance, widening your stance out, or opening up your hips a little bit wider to adjust for the larger stomach as compared to someone that maybe 160 pounds. If you're 300 plus, 400 plus, like in that range, you might need to make more space for your stomach. Now, talking about your bodies, one other thing that might be getting in your way is your body mechanics. I am a shorter guy with short femurs, and so getting to squats is actually pretty easy for me for depth reasons. Now, let's say if it's someone who maybe has a longer legs or longer femurs as compared to the rest of their body, they may have to adjust their squat a little bit to get down to depth. So if you have longer femurs, you're going to have to sit your butt back further, which means your upper body has to lean more forward in order to adjust for that lever going back. You might be trying to stay up too tall, like other people you see in the gym, so you might need to just push the hips back, let it kind of come down a little bit more, so that way you can leverage back up through your squat. Everyone's body is different, everybody's squat is different. Don't do what you just see on everyone doing on Instagram who's super strong squatters. They may have better mechanics than you, better body mechanics than you for the squat. Adjust for your needs and get your butt back, lean forward, and let's see if you can get to depth there. All right, now back into some more form corrections into the depth of your squat. This is one that I hear 9 times out of 10. I don't have the mobility to get down in my squat. That is barely ever the case. It is very rare that someone's hips or ankles are so tight and their calves are so tight that they do not have the mobility to get their butt down low enough to where that inguinal crease breaks the plane of the top of the kneecap. But let's assume that you're one of those that it really is a hamstring issue or calf issue or something is so tight that you cannot get down to the range of motion. What I would recommend here, obviously, is mobility work. So stuff like the frog stretch, put a picture up there. Things where you're stretching your hamstrings out, put it out there. And then making sure that you are stretching your calves. I'll put a picture up there of a couple examples. Those either before or in between sets can help, but once again, this is a lot more rare than people think. You are not that tight unless you're one of those guys that has been doing strength training for a long time and has forgotten about stretching. Usually it's not an issue unless you are one of the more advanced people. There are other issues going on, which might be going back to earlier, might be that you are actually putting on too much weight and you're ego lifting your squats. Another issue that might be going on is that you are new to the squat and actually having to get down to depth.
Hey guys, I'm new in town. I want to squat.
This is actually pretty common. Most people coming in, getting your inguinal crease down to below the top of the kneecap can be tough. It's not because you're ego lifting 9 times out of 10. It's not that you don't have the mobility to get there, it's that you just don't know how to move your body correctly.
I learned this new term for sitting. It's called the squatte.
How to move to your levers, as we've mentioned before. A couple of things that you can do to help fix this. Some of my favorite things to do to help fix this is low box squat, where you're having to bring the butt down so you have a target to aim for. To get down to depth in your squat. Pin squat's going to be another good option for the same reason, where you're going down to where until the bar touches the pins, and then that kind of teaches you the depth and how low you have to go. The problem with these is that they will both settle at the bottom, so learning how to drive your hips through the bottom of the squat and then drive back up will be lost. Sometimes you just gotta refrain from using the barbell if you're beginning. Maybe do some goblet squats, maybe do some wall squats, stuff like that where you can learn the form a little bit better before you get a bar on your back. I hope that helps. One more I'll toss in for you guys as well, and this is the bane of my existence, is the old excuse that a football coach back in high school or your D3 college football team decided to tell you how to squat without any proper experience of how to squat as a powerlifter. For sports, sure, whatever, but you do not need your knees and toes to point straight forward in your squat. This is what will get in the way for a lot of people. The trick to fix this, for some of those bad habits that are picked up back in high school and college, instead of having your knees pointing straight forward and your toes pointing straight forward, actually point your toes out about 30 degrees and open up your hips so that your knees follow the direction of your toes. And that should really, really help open up your squat and help you get to depth. Cool. All right, guys, I hope that video helps you fix your depth issues in your squat. If you have any other reasons that you might think of that you can't get down to depth in your squat, please leave a comment below. Let me and the community, the field army, help you out. And I'll make sure to get back to any questions you guys have on there. Otherwise, send an email. I'll leave down in below, fieldstrengthandathletics@gmail.com. If you guys like this video, give it a big old thumbs up, subscribe down below, ring that bell icon so that way you get notified whenever we release a new video that might help you become stronger, faster, leaner, whatever your goal is. Otherwise, guys, have a great day. Go out there, do something wonderful, and I'll see you later. Peace.